Did we meet before? Extracts from lectures by Paramahansa Yogananda in 1943. Did we meet before? Certainly. Long ago in the bosom of the ether, where we were created as souls, we all were sleeping beneath the shroud of God's wisdom. When He awoke us, we wandered away from Him, like the prodigal son in the Bible story, and forgot our divine kinship with one another. We became strangers. Having left our home in God, we are lone travelers of destiny on this earth. Do you realize how far away you have roamed, and that you have been wandering for many incarnations? How many? It is hard to tell. Yet now and then, certain experiences, places, and faces awaken in you an inner feeling of familiarity that whispers of past knowing. Each soul is omniscient, but its external, body-identified, ego nature becomes limited to its present name, family, and environment. On that day when your soul shall remember its divine origin, your consciousness will live again in the great mansion of spirit. And you will know everything that is in spirit, just as you know your little earthly home and family. It is a most wonderful experience to meet and recognize someone you knew before, someone with whom you have traveled the same pathway of life in former incarnations. All those in my family I knew from past lives, and every now and then I meet others who were known to me in previous incarnations, such as friends of my childhood. Though they have nothing in common with my present life, they are souls I had known before. Even before I had left India to come to this country, and later, when I first arrived in Boston, I was aware that there were many true friends of past lives that I would meet again here. I recognize distinctly those whom I have known before when I meet them in this life. To some of them I have said, "At last, I have found you again," because we have been together before. "Why have you waited so long?" I look for those who were to come here to be with me in God's work. Every day I call for them. "Where are you who were walking with me before?" Suddenly I see a face in the crowd and I say to myself, "There is one who has heard my call." Even now, as I look at your faces, I cannot but think that sometime, somewhere in the dim, distant past, you heard my voice. And the call of that voice has brought you here. Why else, out of millions, were you prompted to come, if not that God has picked you? Some souls, those who are slightly awakened from the slumber of ignorance that veils memories of past lives, will stop and think, "Yes, I know what he is saying. Somewhere I have heard his voice before. It is not unfamiliar to me." I never saw my usually reserved guru, Swami Sri Yukteswar, as excited as when we first met. He knew that I instantly knew who he was, and he knew more than I knew. As Krishna said to his beloved disciple, "O Arjuna, may many births have been experienced by me and by thee. I am acquainted with them all, whereas thou rememberest them not." I can never forget the joy of recognizing Master at that first meeting. Never in my life have I met anyone as great as he. He lived the Spirit of God. Sri Yukteswar was very humble and also very stern. If you associated with him as a friend, you would never have cause to be timid around him. But if you came to him as a disciple, woe unto you if you couldn't take incisive discipline. He never dealt with your words, he worked with your thoughts. Many couldn't take his strictness, but I rejoiced when I saw that he was clearing all wrong thoughts from my mind and filling me with divine wisdom. Such a wonderful fount of wisdom he was. For when you love God truly, you know all that he knows. Master was a true lover of God. Many lives needed to build the mansion of friendship. So, in one sense, you are a stranger traveling alone through this world. Not one whom you think yours is yours. Isn't that true? No one is owned by another. Our karmic destinies have each their individual course, and no one can own or control anyone else. But in a different sense, you are not alone in this world. There are some close relationships that endure, and from which we draw support and joy. Who are these souls who are close to you? They are not always those born in your family, but those with whom you feel an inner tie of deep friendship. For instance, there are those around me here in the ashrams. I have nurtured them with my ideals. They reflect my thoughts and my perceptions. They are considerate of me and I of them. I have planted my life in them, and the divine friendship we share is an eternal bond in God. The foundation of friendship is not secured in one life. Many lives are needed to build the mansion of friendship. It is built with souls you have known before, life after life. That is why, from among the throngs, Jesus called his disciples to him one by one. Those whom he had known before, they met again in the bosom of eternal friendship. Recognizing those you knew before. How can you recognize those you knew before? In a crowd of strangers, sometimes there is one whom you feel at first meeting you have known long ago. Others you never feel close to, no matter how much you associate with them. If you are unhampered by prejudices and not deluded by sexual attraction, and you find souls whose faces and personalities draw you much more strongly than others, it is likely that you knew those souls before. A little test will also help determine which ones are true friends of the past. You may have a lot of so-called friends, and they will tell you that you are wonderful and agree with everything you say. Such persons want you for something for their own benefit. True friends want nothing from you except the joy of your presence. Sometimes the test of friends is in how they behave toward you when you have done something that happens to rouse or contradict them. Those who are your own will never be vengeful or forsake you, even though there may be disagreements. Those who were your true friends in other lives will have an unconditional love for you, no matter what you do, They will always be your friends. Anyone who loves you unconditionally is someone you knew before. That kind of friend you should be also. In analyzing who are your friends of past lives, you can also tell by the attunement you share with one another. As you gradually concentrate your consciousness on developing true friendship with another, you find that you begin to know how that person will feel or respond even before he reacts. If you can do this after only a short acquaintance, certainly you knew that person before. These are some of the signs by which we know who our past friends are. Be a friend to all, but don't expect all to be your friends unless they have passed these tests. To those who fail, give your love and consideration, but remember that they are not ready for your friendship. You should not allow your heart or feelings to be hurt by them. The mansion of friendship must have a solid foundation. If you think differently from your friends and lose their friendship because of it, then you know they were not really your friends. You should not try to build the mansion of friendship on the sand of those relationships. Most people are self-centered. They want to please others for what they can get from them. Such persons are yes people, led by the expediency of the moment. Never give up your freedom of will or compromise your conscience and ideals for self-gain. Hold fast to right principles. Sincerity plus thoughtfulness. Be true, be sincere, and friendship will steadily grow. I remember a discussion with Master about sincerity. I had said, "Sincerity is everything." "No," he responded. "Sincerity plus thoughtfulness is everything." He went on. Suppose you are sitting in the parlor in your home, and there is a beautiful new carpet on the floor. It is raining outside. A friend you haven't seen in many years flings open the door and rushes into the room to greet you. "That is all right," I said, but Master had yet to make his point. "You were sincerely happy to see each other," he said. "But wouldn't you have liked it better if he had been thoughtful enough to take off his muddy boots before he came in and ruined the carpet?" I had to agree he was right. No matter how well you think of someone or how close you are to that person, it is important to sweeten that relationship with good manners and thoughtfulness. Then friendship becomes truly wonderful and enduring. Familiarity that leads you to be inconsiderate is very harmful to friendship. Sincerity is one of the things I prize most. Do not mix with people who flatter you, for someday such friendships will be torn asunder. You will find that you have wasted your time on them. Always beware of flattery. It is good to encourage others with wholehearted praise and appreciation, but the insincerity of flattery is a poison that destroys the soul of both the giver and the receiver. If anyone prefers flattery to love, he doesn't deserve friendship. Those who give love do not give flattery, and those who give flattery do not give love. If you mix with people with real sincerity, thoughtfulness, and love, then you will attract those whom you knew before. Otherwise, you will never find your real friends. You have to be rid of all hypocrisy and insincerity. And never willfully hurt anyone. Never antagonize your friends or give them cause to be angry. Never abuse or take advantage of your friend. Never give counsel unless asked for. And when you do give it, do so with sincerity and kindness, unafraid of the consequences. Friends help each other with constructive criticism. To be able to stand criticism is one of the greatest virtues. I learned that from my guru. I have always appreciated constructive criticism, and I have never sought revenge on those who have unjustly criticized me, nor have I felt unkindly toward them, because I realize that even through our enemies, God tests us. Isn't this so? When Jesus said, "Father, forgive them, for they know not what they do," he was exercising divine compassion and understanding. Through such a life and example, we know how kind and loving is the Heavenly Father. Great ones reflect the nature of God. Earn the friendship of God. The great man doesn't think he is great. Those who say they are great are not. And those who are great are too busy being great to think about their greatness. Besides, no matter how wonderful you think you are, as soon as you proclaim it, everyone wants to prove you otherwise. The point is, be sincere, live it in your life. Never try to deceive others. A fake rose can never be a real rose, and a real rose will shed its fragrance no matter how much it is crushed. So never pretend to be what you are not. If you egotistically display yourself before others, the world will eventually cast you aside. And don't try in any way to deceive God, for in the false notion that you can fool him, you only deceive yourself. He is just behind your thoughts. If you are not sincere with him, he will fly away. He comes only to those who are humble and true devotees. When you love him, you will know him, and you will know he is fully present in every soul. It doesn't matter whether that soul is covered by a charcoal or a diamond personality. God is equally present in both. But the diamond mentality of the saint more fully reflects God. There is no joy comparable to that joy which comes when you have earned the friendship of God. And it is most wonderful to share that joy with others. When a cup is filled with milk and you pour more into it, it overflows. You can't help it. When friendship becomes divine, you will love all. When you love God, you can truly love others. Your perception of souls is pure, like a crystal clear mirror. Whoever comes before you will be reflected there as he really is. Many years ago, I met George Eastman, the inventor of the Kodak. Outwardly, he appeared cold, like steel. He was well known for his philanthropies and, like other men of great wealth, no doubt had cause to wonder about the motives of others he met. He didn't know what I was after. Without preliminary, he asked, "Do you accept my invitation to come to my home?" To which I replied, "I will be glad to, if you accept my invitation also." He agreed. Later, when he came to my apartment and saw me cooking the meal of curries, he said, "You know, I like to cook also." We became a little bit more friendly. Then I remarked casually, "Mr. Eastman, isn't it true that most rich men have no real friends? I want to meet you as a friend, not as a man of wealth." He smiled. For that moment, and during our 2-hour visit, I saw a different Eastman, the real Eastman, because I understood him and met him on the plane of sincere friendship. The next day, he sent me a camera, which I have to this day. When you unconditionally love your friends, you will see that divine friendship in them. In my earthly father, and in so many souls on this path, I found that kind of friendship. When we develop friendship with true souls, one day the friend of all will come and reside in that mansion of friendship. And as you develop true divine friendship, one day you will love all as Christ was the friend of all. Please pray with me. O Lord, in the noble character of true friends is thy wisdom. In their laughter is thy great smile. In the twinkle in their eyes, thou art looking at me. In their voices, thou art speaking to me. And in their love, thou art loving me. Om. Peace. Amen. Excerpts from the book Journey to Self-Realization by Paramahansa Yogananda.